As Chike stepped off the rickety bus and into the thronging chaos of Lagos, the city greeted him with honking cars, shouting street vendors, and the never-ending buzz of human activity. He tightened his grip on the small worn-out bag that held all his belongings and took a deep breath. This was it. This is Lagos State, the place where dreams were made or shattered. Chike is a young man who had left his village in Anambra with high hopes and determination to succeed. You see, back home, he had heard countless stories about Lagos. He has heard about the opportunities, the money, and the fast paced life. He wanted a taste of it all. But as he navigated the crowded streets, his confidence began to wane and the city seemed to swallow him whole. He was just an anonymous face among millions of faces walking on the streets of Lagos. Finding a place to stay was the first hurdle Chike had to face. He wandered aimlessly until he stumbled upon a rundown hotel in Mushi. The owner of the hostel, a man with a perpetual frown, demanded a month's rent upfront. Chike reluctantly handed nearly all his money to him, leaving him with just enough money for food and transport for a week. So the next few days were a blur of job applications and interviews. Chike knocked on doors, he visited countless offices, and he waited in endless lines. Despite his best efforts, the rejections piled up. His optimism was slowly being eroded by the harsh realities of Lagos City. Just when Chike was beginning to despair, he met Ifeoma. So on that day, he was standing in line at a job recruitment center when she approached him. She was petite, with a kind smile and a confidence that seemed out of place in that kind of harsh surrounding that Chike found himself. Looking for a job? She asked, her voice warm and friendly. Chike just nodded, too tired to muster a full response. She said, I know a place that is hiring. It is not much, but it's a start. So she led him to a small restaurant where she worked as a waitress. The owner, named Mama T, was skeptical at first to, give Chike a job, but finally she agreed to give him a trial. The work was very hard and the pay was very meager, but to Chike it was a lifeline as at that time. Ifeoma took Chike under her wings, showing him the ropes and sharing her meals when he couldn't afford his own. Ifeoma was an Igbo and a Lagosian by birth, so she had mastered the art of living in Lagos. Her street smart and resilience were valuable to Chike as at that time. She taught him how to navigate the city of Lagos to avoid scams and where to find the best deals. Over the time, their friendship deepened. Chike admired Ifeoma's strength and kindness, and she was drawn to his determination and integrity. They spent their evenings talking about their dreams and fear, forging a bond that grew stronger with each passing day. So with Ifeoma's support, Chike began to find his footing in Lagos. He took on extra shifts at the restaurant and saved every naira he could. He also started a small side hustle, buying and reselling used electronics. It wasn't so long before his hard work eventually paid off. Chike's business skills and relentless drive caught the attention of a local entrepreneur called Mr. Adebayo, who offered him a job at his logistic company. It was a significant step up, and Chike eagerly accepted. He threw himself into this work and quickly rising through the ranks. As his fortune improved, so did his relationship with Ifeoma. They spent more time together, and Chike realized that he has fallen in love with her. Ifeoma, who had always seen Chike as a friend and a confidant, began to see him in a new light. Their relationship blossomed into a romance, and Chike couldn't imagine his life without her. So over the years, Chike's success did not go unnoticed back at home. His family, who had been skeptical about his move to Lagos, began to take pride in his achievements because in no distant time, Chike had built a family house in the village. He placed his family on monthly salary. His siblings too were not left out because he opened businesses for them all. Even though they ran down their businesses, he still placed their children on scholarship. The first time he returned to the village for a visit, they all welcomed him with open arms. His parents, especially, were eager to see him settle down and marry. So when Chike told them about Ifeoma, their enthusiasm quickly turned to disapproval. They had envisioned him marrying a girl from the village, someone from their own community. To them, Ifeoma, with her Lagos upbringing and independent spirit, did not really fit their ideal wife. Despite the objections, Chike remained steadfast. He loved Ifeoma and wanted to marry her. He believed that in time his family will come to accept her, but their resistance only grew stronger by the day. They accused Ifeoma of being a gold digger who was only interested in Chike's newfound wealth. Even when Chike explained to them how Ifeoma helped him in the city, they weren't ready to listen to him. The tension reached a boiling point where Chike announced his intention to marry Ifeoma. His family was furious and their anger soon turned to hostility. He went ahead and married Ifeoma anyway against their will. This got them more furious, so they began to plot against the couple, determined to destroy the marriage at any cost. After their wedding, Chike and Ifeoma went on to live their happy life in Lagos State. So during their 1 year wedding anniversary, Chike and Ifeoma welcomed their first child, a very beautiful daughter. So Chike called his family members in the village in order to share the good news with them. Under the disguise of being happy for him and reconciliation, Chike's siblings told him that they will be coming to his house in Lagos for the child's naming ceremony, but they had an ulterior motive for coming. 2 days before the naming ceremony, Chike came back from work and handed his wife a sealed brown envelope. He asked her to keep it safe for him. He told her that he would ask for it after the naming ceremony, so Ifeoma kept it in her suitcase. Chike, hopeful that his family had finally come around, agreed to allow them visits for the naming ceremony. But this visit turned out to be a trap. Chike's family had no intention of reconciliation, nor happy about the child's birth. Instead, they poisoned his drink on the day of the naming ceremony, and Chike died in agony. Ifeoma was so devastated by Chike's death. The pain of losing him was compounded by the accusation that followed. Chike's family, seeking to deflect suspicions from themselves, accused Ifeoma of being responsible for his death. Just 2 days after Chike's death, Ifeoma was asked to travel to his village so as to start mourning her husband. All she was allowed to take was her suitcase. Ifeoma traveled by night bus with her baby, who was just less than 2 weeks old. While inside the bus, she wept all through the journey. In her mind, she kept questioning God. And she asked God, she said, "God, what have I done to deserve this? Why did you allow this to happen to me? Why did you allow Chike die? So my daughter will grow up without knowing her father? God, who will help me raise this child? God, you know that I did not kill Chike. I loved him so much. Chike was the air that I breathed. Why will I kill him? God, please vindicate me," she said as she cried. At the village, Ifeoma was subjected to brutal treatment as the family sought to prove her guilty. They spread lies about her, turning friends and neighbors against her. But luckily for her, one of her friends called came to stay with her in the village while she was mourning her husband. Ifeoma's hair was shaved. They made her walk around the village, which was called the Walk of Shame. They tied palm frond around her neck while the villagers, both young and old, booed her while she walked around the village. After the walk, she was locked up inside a room with just mats inside the room. No visitor was allowed to visit her. She was not allowed to leave the room for 7 days. On the seventh day, she was made to swear an oath to prove her innocence. She was asked to drink the water used to bathe her late husband. Ifeoma did all these things just to prove her innocence. Chike's family were not happy that Ifeoma was able to survive all she was made to go through. So they decided to get her during the final test. And the test was that at exactly 12 a.m. on the seventh day, that she would bathe with the water used in bathing her late husband. She would do the bathing inside the bush all by herself. If she comes out alive, that means she's innocent. But if otherwise, then it means that she did kill her husband. Chike's siblings knew that she would definitely make it out alive from the bush because they knew that she was innocent. So they decided to add some substance into the water so that when she uses the water to bathe, she would die on the spot. As they were adding the substance into the water, unknown to them that Ifeoma's best friend Nkem saw them. So when they left after adding the substance, she quickly changed the water, and that was how Ifeoma was saved from their trap. So after the burial ceremony and 3 months mourning period, Ifeoma decided to go back to Lagos to continue mourning her husband there. But when she got to Lagos, what she met shocked her. Everything she and Chike worked for had been taken over by Chike's siblings and families. In fact, they instructed the gateman not to allow her into the compound. You see, while Ifeoma was at the village mourning her husband, his siblings has moved to Lagos and they are taking over all their possessions. Ifeoma couldn't access any money from his account. All his accounts were blocked. So she went to different branches of their companies to know why she couldn't access funds. But she was informed that the new bosses, who were her husband's siblings, had instructed the banks to block all her accounts. Ifeoma was left stranded financially. All she had with her was her baby and her suitcase. Ifeoma had no family to go to because she was an orphan and she was also an only child. However, her friend Nkem took her in. Every day Ifeoma would cry. She became a shadow of herself. But one day she decided to get something to do since she and her daughter would feed. While Ifeoma hustled day and night, Chike's siblings and their families were living large off Chike's wealth. Their wives wore the most expensive clothes, jewelry, and traveled to choice destinations, while Ifeoma wore rags. Their kids attended the best schools in the country, while Ifeoma's daughter couldn't attend any school. So one day, Ifeoma couldn't make any sales from her business. She and her daughter were so hungry that day. So as she was searching her suitcase to see if she could find any money to buy garri and groundnuts for them to drink and go to bed that night, she stumbled upon a brown envelope. Immediately she remembered that her husband handed her that envelope few days before his sudden death. Immediately she opened it in order to know the contents, and what she saw shocked her. Inside the envelope was a copy of her late husband's will, stating that in case he dies, all his possessions be willed to his wife and daughter, as he has settled all his siblings. Ifeoma read this will with tears rolling down her eyes. What happened was that before Chike died, he had observed how his siblings hated his wife. So when she gave birth to their daughter, he thought it wise to protect his wife and daughter so that so he decided to write his will in case of any eventuality. The next morning, Ifeoma made photocopies of the will and headed straight to the Ministry of Women Affairs so that they could help her fight her case. The ministry, with the help of an attorney, worked tirelessly to build a case against Chike's family. The road to justice was fraught with challenges. Chike's family had so much influence as at then. They used it to obstruct Ifeoma's efforts at every turn. Witnesses were intimidated into silence and crucial evidences disappeared mysteriously. But all this didn't stop the ministry from getting justice for Ifeoma. After months of investigation, the ministry finally had enough evidence to take the case to court. The trial was a media sensation, drawing attention from across the country. People were captivated by the story of a young woman fighting for justice against powerful adversaries. In court, Ifeoma's attorney presented a compelling case. He revealed the poison used to kill Chike and traced it back to his family. He exposed their lies and manipulations, bringing to light the extent of their deceit. those witnesses who had been so afraid to speak out eventually came forward, collaborating Ifeoma's story. Chike's family tried to counter with more lies and fabrications, but the weight of evidence against them was overwhelming. Also, it was revealed that Chike's siblings bribed his lawyer so that his will never be read to his wife's hearing. But what they didn't realize was that Chike was smart enough to keep a duplicate with his wife before he died. The court found them guilty of Chike's murder and false accusation against Ifeoma. They were sentenced to long prison terms. With Chike's family brought to justice, Ifeoma turned her attention to reclaiming his possessions. The court ruled in her favor, recognizing her as Chike's rightful heir. She regained control of his businesses and assets, which had been taken over by his family after his death. Chike's siblings were not happy with the court's ruling, so from prison they planned with their wives to end Ifeoma's life diabolically. Their wives went to visit a native doctor who gave them a powder substance. He instructed them that at 1 a.m. in the night they should blow the substance into the air while they call out Ifeoma's name 3 times. He told them that with that, Ifeoma would die in her sleep and everything will become theirs once again. However, before they left, he warned them that the substance must never come in contact with water. Unfortunately for them, as they were going back home that night, it started raining. So one of them suggested that they should check if the substance was well protected from the rain. As they opened the bag to check, rainwater touched it. Immediately, thunder struck them to death. Also, at the same time, their husbands were struck to death by thunder while in prison. Ifeoma used her newfound wealth and influence to honor Chike's memory. She expanded his businesses, created jobs and opportunities for others who, like Chike, came to Lagos in search of better life. She also established a foundation in his name, dedicated to helping victims of injustice and supporting legal reforms to protect the innocent. So one of the lessons to be learned from this story is that we should allow our loved ones to marry their choice partner. All we owe our loved ones when they are about to settle down is our prayers, our guidance and our support. You advise them, you guide them through and you support them. We should not force partners on our loved ones. We should allow them to be with whom they love. Also, men should learn to always protect their family by writing a will in case of any eventuality. What actually saved Ifeoma in this whole saga was the will that Chike wrote before he died. Hi, thank you so much for watching to this extent. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please, I want to plead with you before you go. Please kindly hit the subscribe button. Your subscription means a lot to me. Please help my little channel to grow. Please like, share, comment, and put on your notification bell before you leave. Please don't leave without subscribing. Please, thank you so much. Until our next story, bye bye.